Hello there, my name is James Goff, the creator of the Telos Lifestyle Revolution and the author of The Weight Loss Habit, which is available on Amazon. This is the fourth exercise in the 9 exercises of the Telos Lifestyle Revolution, and it's the first exercise of 3 that will help you manage your emotions and essentially delete any unwanted negative emotions and increase and boost the power of the positive, enjoyable emotions on a moment-to-moment basis and more of throughout the day. So if you're watching this video on YouTube, this is just one of 9 exercises in the Telos Lifestyle Revolution, and you can find them all at teloshealth.co.uk. Submodalities were developed by Dr Richard Bandler, and they were developed to help people manage their emotions. With this simple exercise that is really easy to learn, you'll be able to delete all of the negative, unwanted emotions that make you feel bad and increase the power of positive emotions that you want to feel at different times and in different circumstances throughout the day. This exercise, without a doubt, is the most powerful exercise I've ever come across to help me manage my own emotions. Now, I've been doing this for over a decade now, and I can honestly say that I virtually never ever feel bad. This exercise has allowed me to feel good 99.9% of the time that I'm awake throughout the day. I've managed to delete all negative emotions, and if a negative emotion does appear, which is very, very rarely, I use this simple technique to quickly eradicate it and then quickly replace it with the positive emotions that I want to feel at that moment. It works in a very, very simple way. Essentially, the way that we see the outside world through our sight, our hearing, let me get this out, through our sight, hearing, how we feel, and this isn't just sort of how we feel with our skin, but what we feel inside our body as well, and our sense of smell and our sense of taste. So all of those things that help us perceive and understand the outside world, we use equally to perceive and understand the inside of our world, our emotions. So our emotions are based on our sight, our sound, the sense of touch, our taste, and the sense of smell. And you can affect them using those as well. So let's take an example. Let's take the anxiety that someone might feel when they need to give a presentation or give a talk in public. It's one that a lot of people experience. They feel anxiety, they feel tense, they feel nervous. And I'll take that as an example and walk you through how you might change that using submodalities. So it will go something like this. I would then imagine that I'm about to give a talk, and I would then elicit the same feeling that I might feel, that sense of nervousness, anxiety, excitement, whatever it is. And then I would access the submodalities, they're called, of that feeling. So if I was to think about being nervous, I might get a jittery feeling in my stomach. And that jittery feeling might have a shape that might be a jagged ball, and it might be jagged and moving round slowly this way. So it's a black jagged ball that might be moving around slowly this way, and I can see this big image of lots of people in an audience all looking at me with really angry faces, and the image is still, but I can see the person who invited me to present looking at me and going, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You're getting it all wrong." And I can hear him saying that as well. And the emotion I would name as anxiety. So that's the example of how it might be perceived to somebody who's feeling anxiety at that moment. I just made all of that up. But to overcome that anxiety, what I would do is change all of the submodalities, the look of the ball, the shape, the size, the colour of it. I would change the image that I have of the audience, and the person who invited me to present. And I would change all of those things to something that made me feel good. Now, that might be, if I was to then think of, let's say, and you have to work with this based on your own experience, but I would then probably go to a period in time when I have given a presentation, it's gone really well. So I could think of one and I can see the people clapping, I can see the people, they weren't in my field of vision, but I'll put them there. I can see them smiling and going, great, we'll have to invite James back to give another presentation. The feeling inside that I have is a nice pale blue. It's like a shimmery sort of feeling, and it's going up into my chest. It's like a kind of, like a comfort blanket, strangely enough, but it's sort of silky, and it's waving through my body. So when I think of giving a good presentation, that's how I see it. So the presentation that I have coming up in the future that's in my mind, and let's say I'm nervous about, I would take those submodalities, the nervous submodalities, and I would morph them. I would change how they look, how they feel, the image that I have in front of me, and I would replace it with the positive images, the positive feeling, the positive sounds, the positive graphics, the image, I've already said that, and potentially smells and tastes that I associate with it as well. So the smell I have is one of coffee, even though I drink coffee, but I remember the smell of coffee from the previous presentation that I gave that went really well. So that's essentially what you do with submodalities. You take these the internal representation of the negative feeling, and you replace it with the internal representation of a positive feeling. Now, if you're working just with an emotion on its own, let's say you've got an emotion of feeling sad that makes you reach for bad food and unhealthy food, so you might want to take the submodalities of feeling sad and reduce them. Now, there's an audio that I have that accompanies this exercise, and the audio is a guided audio, and it takes you through the whole process. You can read the instructions that you hear, and there's a list of what's called predicates, which are the submodalities, and you can memorize as many as you can and do it yourself. But it won't take you long to learn this exercise, and then the next time you are feeling sad, all you would do is you would take the submodalities and you would reduce them and decrease them until you can't feel that emotion anymore. And then you might want to replace it with a feeling that makes you feel good. So you would go through the exercise of learning what those submodalities are of your emotion of feeling good, or the feeling of feeling good, and then you would make a note of them mentally, and you would take, once again, the negative emotion, reduce it until it disappears, or until you've reduced it as much as you can, and then in its place morph into being, create the submodalities of the positive feeling. And that is how you reduce the negative feelings and increase the positive feelings. It's all explained in the instructions. I hope that kind of gives you a little bit more of an idea of how it works. And there's a guided audio to help take you through it if you can't remember, or if you just enjoy being guided. It's available there for you, and I hope you get as much out of it as I have. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.